Welcome back to the channel, guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the plugins that I use in Visual Studio Code to improve my React Native development. So all my plugins are already installed on my machine. I'm just going to tell you which ones they are and you can go ahead and install them. So the first one is Advanced New File. So as you may have noticed, I use this to create files quickly using just my keyboard shortcuts. So once you have this installed, all you need to do is press Command-Option-N on your Mac to bring up this screen, and then you can select where you want to create this folder. The second one isn't exactly a plugin, it's just a theme for Visual Studio Code, and it's a theme that I really like. It's the Atom 1 Dark theme, and it's based off Atom's 1 Dark theme. The third plugin is called Auto Close Tag. As the name suggests, it helps you automatically close a tag once you create it. To see this in action, here if I create an empty view, you'll see once I close the bracket, it automatically creates the closing tag. The fourth plugin is called Babel JavaScript. This plugin gives us syntax highlighting for ES6 and 7, React JSX, Flow and GraphQL, which is not there by default. Once you have this installed and you open up a JavaScript file in which you have to write ES6 or 7 or JSX, you'll notice at the bottom you'll have Babel JavaScript available to you. This plugin recommends using the syntax highlighting with a theme that it supports, which is the Oceanik Next theme. I really like this theme and we can go ahead and install this as well. However, I haven't noticed any problem in using this with any other theme. Talking about themes, the Oceanik Next theme is my next recommended plugin. It'll give you two color schemes, one is the regular Oceanik Next theme and one is the dimmed background theme, which, like I mentioned, is also the recommended theme to use with the Babel JavaScript syntax highlighting. The next plugin is called Color Highlight. You may have noticed I put in a lot of colors using a hex code or an RGB or RGBA value, and I get a color highlight around it. You can also change the setting of this to make it color the complete value instead of just giving it a border. This makes it extremely easy to see what colors you had selected instead of just having random values. Once you have the plugin installed, you can go into your preferences and you can change the value here from color highlight.marker type background to either outline or any other style of highlight that you prefer. Another extremely useful plugin related to colors is called the Color Picker. With this plugin, you can easily just jump to any color straight from your app. So either you can go into your Finder, search for pick color and pick the color, or you can use Option C followed by P to bring up the color picker. The next plugin I'm going to be talking about is called DocumentThis. This is an extremely useful plugin to write comments in your app. So in the top of your class, all you need to do is put on a / followed by 2 stars and you get the option of DocumentThis. When you select that, it automatically shows you that the name of the class is app and it extends React.component. And not only does it support basic JavaScript, it also supports compiler tags like class, description, enum, etc. For those of you working in teams, this next plugin called KitLens is an essential. Once it's installed, you'll notice when you pull code from your repository, it'll show you who has created what part of your code. So as you can see over here, it's showing me that I've edited this code 6 days ago and on what branch I worked on. This makes it extremely easy to see what changes were made by whom and when. The next two plugins that I'm going to be talking about are Guides and Indent Rainbow. So what Guides does is, it gives me nice guidelines along with my code to make it easier for me to match up brackets and also lines of code. Let's see that in action. In my JavaScript file here, you can see that this render method matches up with this bracket here and I get this nice guide, which makes it easy for me to match them up. The other plugin that I was talking about is called Indent Rainbow. This plugin, along with guides, gives me different colors for each indent. This again makes it easy for me to quickly identify which line matches up with which line. I'm sure there are a lot of times when you need to fill up your views with some dummy text. That's where the next plugin comes in. It's called Lorem Ipsum. It's a generator that produces the familiar Lorem Ipsum random text. So to use this, all you need to do is go into your file and suppose here I want to create a text view. Inside that, I want to populate it with some text. I can go into my Finder and type Lorem Ipsum and it'll tell me to insert a paragraph, a line or multiple paragraphs. We've covered color schemes and themes for our files, but unless our code editor overall doesn't look nice, I don't enjoy working on my projects. This next plugin called Material Icon Theme will help style your icons. As you can see here, it makes them look really nice. The icons are quite exhaustive and cover almost all the types of files that exist. This plugin is also extremely customizable and you can change a lot of the default settings. The next plugin is the Path Intellisense, which you've seen me use several times in my projects. What this plugin does is it gives you an autocomplete for your file system. So here in my app.js, suppose I want to put in an image and I want to import the file in. So I'll say image source equal to, when I require the file, all I need to do is put in the folder and it'll give me suggestions to what folders exist in my file. I can go into my assets folder and then I can go and get the splash.png, which otherwise would be quite difficult for me as I'd have to open my sidebar and look for the file. Wouldn't it be great to have a playground, especially a JavaScript playground, that supports Babel and React JSX built into Visual Studio Code? That's exactly what Cocotte.js does. I know I might be pronouncing this incorrectly, but I do know it's an awesome plugin. The best thing is, all you need to do is just install this plugin. There is no configuration required. Once you have this plugin installed, you can just jump to create a new JavaScript file with Cocotte. And once that's created, I'll show you what it can do. Suppose you create a new method called printName. You want to pass it a name, and all it does is print out the name when this method is called. Now here, if you call printName, it's giving you real-time debugging by telling you undefined @name. Here, if you pass in a name now, you'll see it logs out the name in real time in our terminal and also here in the file. This can be super handy, especially for React Native developers, because we have to spin up a simulator and start the debugging whenever we want to check anything. We can always use this to check what we want here. The next plugin that I use is called Rainbow Brackets. No matter how clean you keep your code, you know that there will be a time where you will get confused between brackets. This simple extension, all it does is it gives you matching colors for a particular block of code. So if you notice here, this return statement matches its bracket with a similar color, whereas the render has a different bracket color and the export default class has another color to it. This makes it very clear for us that these are three different code blocks. Next, we finally have a specific React Native plugin. It's known as React Native Tools. So what this plugin does is it gives you some built-in features of React Native straight inside Visual Studio Code. Once you have this installed, you can run commands like run Android, run iOS, start and stop your package straight from Visual Studio Code. It also has support for Expo. You can get more details of that in the Expo documentation. There are times when you want to implement a feature later, or you want to fix a part of your code. For that, there's a nice handy plugin called To-Do Highlight. So in To-Do Highlight, you have two built-in tags, which is To-Do and Fix Me. And it's extremely easy to use it. In your file, when you put in a comment here, all you need to do is put in a To-Do with a colon and it'll give you a color. Similarly, you can also put in a Fix Me and it'll give you a specific color. Another extremely important plugin is called Version Lets. It's got an extremely easy way of showing your package version along with your package name in your package.json. And it'll also tell you if there's a newer version available. So I have it installed here. Let's look at my package.json. And if we give it a minute, we see that it shows us that I have the latest version of Expo, whereas I can upgrade my React version. So along with all these plugins, you guys have seen me use my custom snippets that help me build up boilerplate code. I've got a link to my code on my GitHub profile, but I'll just show you how to install that right now. So if you head over to Google and type unsure programmer React Native custom snippets, you should get a GitHub link to my snippets. If you click on that, it'll take you to this page. Go into the JavaScript react.json file. You can click on raw first. It'll be easier to copy. Once you've copied that, come back to Visual Studio Code, open up the command line by pressing Command-Shift-P and go to Configure User Snippets. Here in the JavaScript react.json, delete everything that you have and copy in my snippet. Once you have those, You will also be able to quickly create components by using the code that I use, which is imrnc, and you see that the complete component is created. So that completes my setup for Visual Studio Code. Do let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to know, and please like, share and subscribe. Thank you as always for watching.